So these are the two bookshelves I was talking about. These are all our books that are on my physical TBR. This is what we love to spend our money on, okay? These are the book displays I got in Zara Home today. Excuse me. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alex, and in today's video we're going to be going through and reading some of the books on my physical TBR. Now, I am not the kind of person that keeps a long physical TBR in my house because I live in a small flat and I want to make sure that the books I am keeping are the ones that I love the most, that I've read, that I think are 5-star reads. So because of that, I tend to read a lot of my books on my Kindle or digitally and then decide which ones I want physical copies of. But recently I've acquired some books, and because of that, I have them here. I thought it would be really exciting for me to make a YouTube video reading potentially 2 of these in this video, but we'll see. I don't think we'll be reading all of them in this video because that would take forever. And some of these books are actually quite chunky, but I'm hoping to make my way through at least 2 of these books in this video. And then if you guys like this video format, then we can read the other 2 in a separate video. As you can see, some of these babies are chunky, okay? So it's probably going to take us about a week to read 2 of these, which is fine because we're not in a rush to go anywhere. We're here to read and have a good time. First thing I want to do is share with you guys the books that are on my physical TBR, because my virtual TBR is like 100+ books. So there's never a shortage of books to read. There's just not enough time to read them all. And once I show you all the books and all the options, then I can talk to you guys a little bit about the book I've already started last night, because you might be able to tell which one it is because it's the only one that has a bookmark in it. So let's get straight into it, okay? First book on our TBR is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I got this book as part of a blind date with a book that was gifted to me at work. But this book, as you guys know, it's very famous. Everyone and their dogs has read this book. And actually, when I saw this in person, I was surprised about how thin it is, okay? I've read one single other book by Sarah J. Maas, and that was Crescent City, book 1. And that book was like 700, 800 pages, and it just lost me, okay? I thought the story was good. I just feel like it could have been so much shorter, okay? Because I'm not a lover of like 800-page books. I think if it's 800 pages, it's a bit too long for me, and I will get bored, and I'll probably not read it fully. So when I saw that this book is 406 pages, I was actually impressed, okay? I was impressed, and I picked this book out at the blind date with a book without knowing what it is, obviously, because it's a blind date. But let's read the back and like see what it's about. So it says, in a land without magic, an assassin is summoned to the castle. Selena Sardothian has no love for the vicious king who rules from his throne of glass. But she has not come to kill him. She has come to win her freedom. If she defeats 23 murderers, thieves, and warriors in a deadly competition, she will be released from prison to serve as the king's champion. But something rotten dwells in the castle, and it's there to kill. When her competitors start dying mysteriously one by one, Selena's fight for freedom becomes a fight for survival, launching her on a desperate quest to root out the evil before it destroys her world and the people she has become to love. Thrilling and fierce, Throne of Glass is the first book in the #1 New York Times best-selling series that has captivated readers worldwide. That sounds kind of good. I actually had no idea this is a bit of like a murder mystery / trial. Cool. Next book on our TBR is a beautiful edition of Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. So this book has actually come out last year, and this is the beautiful The Works special edition. Let me show you the sprayed edges sideways. And this is the prequel series to Divine Arrivals, which you can see here, Divine Rivals and then Ruthless Vows. I haven't read any of these books, but I've heard that this one is really good. And it's very chunky. We're talking 525 pages. I'm just like obsessed with this edition. Like, how beautiful is this book? I have an addiction, and I think my addiction is sprayed edges. I'm waiting for a psychologist to diagnose what I have, honestly. So it says, Matilda is blessed with a humble messenger magic, carrying letters and secrets through the realms, including one of her own. 10 years ago, Vincent of Beckett wrote to Matilda on the darkest night of his life, but he received no reply, hardening his heart against the gods. That is until she arrives bearing a letter that might lead to a future beyond dreams. Matilda's letter could rewrite the dark, blood-soaked ways of the gods or end them once and for all. Super excited about this one. And then next is a book I purchased this past weekend, and that is Riftborn. This has been also on my TBR since like last year. I know book 2 is already out, so I am behind, clearly. But I saw this beautiful edition with like gold foiling in Waterstones, and it obviously has these beautiful sprayed edges, and then they go like up and then they go down to the bottom. More gold foiling on the back, and then if we remove this dust jacket, we have the naked hardback and then a map, and I think it's the same map on the back. So I'm super excited to make my way through this one as well. I know book 2 is even bigger than this one, but this book is 476 pages, which is actually not that bad. It looks much bigger. It looks bigger and it's heavy. That's another option for this reading vlog. And then finally, the start of the show, and that is the book that I got last night. My boyfriend Toby came home with a surprise for me, and it was this book. And he has me added on Goodreads. So whenever he buys me a book, he goes on my Goodreads and checks what books I want to read. And I found out about this book yesterday, and I added it to my TBR yesterday, not knowing that he's gonna buy me a book. And he went on my TBR and bought the last book that was added, and that was this book. So I found out about this book, I added it to my TBR, and I got it as a present all in the same day. But that is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen, and how beautiful is this book, you guys? How beautiful is this? Okay, let me show you the sprayed edges, because duh, of course my boyfriend would buy me a book with sprayed edges. I mean, he knows me, okay? They're pink on the top and then pink on the bottom, and then we have beautiful gold foiling on the back again. And then if we remove this dust jacket, which is actually really tight, we have the naked hardback with this beautiful gold detailing. Then we have the edge, it's black, and then these beautiful sprayed edges again. And then if you open it, same thing on the back. So this is the book I started last night. I am 32 pages in, which is really exciting, and I hope it delivers, okay? I hope this is gonna be a 5-star read for me. So these are all our books that are on my physical TBR. I don't own any other book that I haven't read, and I really want to make my way through these because I think they're gonna be amazing reads, okay? I have a lot of faith in these books. So yeah, I'll catch you guys up once I have an update on Infinite Fate, and maybe we'll decide which one we want to pick up after we finish this one. Guys, I just noticed that on the cover here it says, they loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes. They killed each other in every one. Excuse me? Okay, so I'm 32 pages into this book, and I thought I would take a break and give you guys a bit of an update. I mean, tell you what the book is about, because I haven't given you any update on it yet. I'm really liking it already, and I hope that I continue to like it and it doesn't like break my heart, because I've seen people on TikTok crying over this book. And I hope that's not me. This book is also standalone. I don't know if I said that in the intro. This book starts with a prologue, which takes place like thousands of years ago, and we're at a wedding, and we know that the bride and the groom are obviously getting married, but before they do so, the bride kills the groom. They both die. That's literally the prologue, okay? And then the book opens, and we're in 2004, and we learn that basically our FMC gets reincarnated every 18 years, because every time before she turns 18, like right before her 18th birthday, she gets killed. And she gets killed by our MMC Arden, and they seem to be under this curse where before their 18th birthday, one kills the other, and they're somehow linked so that if one of them dies, the other automatically dies at the same time, so their hearts stop beating at the same time. So they've been reincarnated and lived up to 18 hundreds of times. This is told from the perspective of our FMC, and her name's Evelyn, and she can remember every single one of the previous lives, but the more time goes on, the more she forgets them. She only remembers that she's been reincarnated around age 8. So before she turns 8, she doesn't actually realize, she's just living life as a normal kid. And when she turns like 8, she starts remembering that she has lived previous lives and that she will die before the age of 18. And then chapter 3 opens and we're in 2022, which is 18 years from 2004. And every life that our FMC lives, she doesn't know who Arden is because he also gets reincarnated, right? And he doesn't disclose his true identity. So she'll be living her life until age 18, falling in love, for example, with like a neighborhood kid. And then before she turns 18, she'll realize that the guy she fell in love with is actually Arden, that she's fallen in love with multiple times before. I think their genders are not defined, as in like our FMC can be reborn as a man and our MMC can be reborn as a woman. I think I'm just calling them that because it would get really confusing if they start like swapping genders. I would get a bit confused. So we know them as Evelyn and Arden, but they've lived multiple lives and they were reborn as different people with different names. I'm just keeping them that way because it would get confusing for me. It's just so sad because you get these glimpses of their lives before and the different lives in different places of the world where they lived before and how their relationship and love developed. But obviously we're not digging deep into every single one of their lives. We just get like a glimpse before they turn 18 and they both die. Obviously we don't know why this loop is repeating, why they're cursed. And it's just, oh, you guys, this book is just so like, I feel like I'm gonna cry reading this. But I'll update you guys when I make my way a little bit more through the book and I have some more thoughts. But so far, what a banger. Everyone please say thank you, Toby, for buying me this book, because I don't know what it is about him, but my boyfriend always delivers with his presents, okay? If he's getting me a present, it's gonna be a fantastic one and I'm gonna be obsessed with it. And he's never failed me yet. Yeah, let's keep reading and I'll update you guys soon. Welcome back. It's been a few days. My best friend Katarina was here for a few days, so I spent a lot of time hanging out with her and I didn't have a chance to do that much reading or update you guys. But now I'm back and we're back on track with our reading, and I got a really special delivery. I ordered a Fairyloot book on Vinted that I read last year, I think, or this year, and I gave it 5 stars. I loved it and I wanted the Fairyloot version because I thought it was really beautiful. I love the color scheme, I love the art, and I know the book 2 in this duet or trilogy, I'm not sure what it is coming out this year. So I wanted to buy book 2 and have both as Fairyloot versions. So let me show it to you. So this is the book. It's called Warrior Princess Assassin, and this is the beautiful Fairyloot version with these beautiful sprayed edges, and it has this like silver foiling on the front and then silver foiling on the back. And then if I take this dust jacket off, this is the naked hardback, and then the side, and then the back, and then it sort of like opens like that. And then the art on the inside, and it's also signed by the author, and then the art on the back. So I am actually obsessed with these sprayed edges. This is one of the reasons why I got it, because it's in the same similar shade of blue to the Starside Fairyloot version I already have. So these two look like super cute together on my shelf. You guys know I love a colorful book. I love a colorful shelf. I don't want all my books to be white or black. This is the original cover on the inside of the dust jacket, and then this is the Fairyloot version. So I'm obsessed with this book. This is a white choose, but it's done like really well. I feel like it's not focused around like spice, it's focused just around the story, and it's a like really wholesome, nice story, and I really loved it. So I look forward to reading book 2 and hopefully ordering the Fairyloot version of book 2 to match this, and they can sit together on my shelf. Okay, so I am close to like a third of the way through the book and I am loving it a lot at the moment. So let me tell you what's been going on, because this book takes place in like alternating timelines. So we have the present, which is 2022, and that is our main character's current life, current like reincarnation cycle, I guess, I don't know. Every alternating chapter shows them at a previous reincarnation in the past. So you can go between like the 1930s to the 1950s to the 1960s. So every time we go back in the past, we get get a glimpse of what our character's life was at the time, and it's usually a glimpse into the few days slash moments before they died. I try to stay away from reading any reviews about this book because I don't want people's opinions to influence my opinion. But I saw that a few people were commenting how these like flashbacks back in time are really brief. So we get a glimpse into what our characters' past lives were, but we don't necessarily get like a really good understanding of their relationship, the dynamic. It's basically just a glimpse. It's a blip. It's like a flashback. We know at the beginning of this book that they are in love. They've been in love in basically every single lifetime, even though they have breaks of like 18 years where they don't meet. When they do meet, they have like instant connection. It's described as a red thread that connects both of them, but we don't yet know their origin story. Like, how did they fall in love the first time around? I think if I didn't have people over and things to do, I probably would have sat down and I devoured this book in 2 days. But because I've been busy, I've been sort of preoccupied by other things, but I keep coming back to this book. I keep thinking about it. I keep like trying to figure out how their story will like unfold. And also every time I see this book cover, I think this is so beautiful. Like, not just the sprayed edges, which you know I'm obsessed with, but like this cover, I think every time I look at it, I'm like, yes, this represents the story so well. And also I like that when both Evelyn and Arden are referenced in this book, they go by like they, them. Again, adds that element of like they don't have a set in stone gender. I do wish maybe our characters were a bit older, because I think like being 17, 18 is, you know, you're barely starting your life. You don't really have a chance to see, you know, have that relationship evolve into more of a mature relationship. I think it's more like a personal preference, as I don't really read a lot of YA. Also, reliving age 0 to 18 is probably not my favorite time ever to relive if I had a choice. If I could have, you know, relived over and over again in a loop, I would probably choose like 20 to 30. But I'm only 27, so I don't know what my 30s have in store for me. So happy Saturday, you guys. I thought I would share with you my new shelves, because today I walked around London and I walked into a Zara Home and I found these like book displays, and I was like, I need these, okay? I need these in my life. I just don't know how I'm gonna use them. I mentioned this in every single one of my videos, but I live in a tiny flat in London and I don't have a lot of space for my books, okay? I'm also sharing the space with my boyfriend, Toby. So both my books and his books need to fit in this flat. So I have to be very conservative and very intentional about the way I organize my books. So when I saw these book displays, I was like, these would be really cute, but I don't know if I have the space for them. And then I came home and I did some restructuring, I did some thinking, I did some reorganizing, and let me show you the final product. So these are the two bookshelves I was talking about. So before, I basically had books that were just like lined up on the shelf. So hopefully you can see there that there's actually some books at the back. Well, those used to be like at the front, right? And these bookshelves are like really, really deep. So what I did is I pushed those books towards the back, and then I used these displays, which I'll show you separately, but that I got from Zara Home today. And then I placed a book to display on the front. So this is the bottom shelf, and then that is the top shelf, and it's basically the exact same thing. I pushed the books that were originally at the front towards the back, and then I used a display to display one of my special editions for Riftborn. Now what I also did, I used some lights, which I'll show you separately as well, but I used these lights to place them in between the book display and the books in the back to basically like light up the space and have it be a bit more dynamic, like be able to show the depth of the shelf, because without the lights they were just like a bit too dark. I also changed the color of these lights because I can change the color of it, so I changed the color to somewhat match the cover. So this is pink for our Infinite Fates by Laura Stevens. We have green, even though it looks a bit blue on this camera, trust me, it's a lot more green in real life, for the special edition of Riftborn with green sprayed edges. So what I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping to rotate the books that are on display based on which books are my current favorites at the moment. These are just my latest purchases. I got this one from my boyfriend a few days ago, and then I got this one in Waterstones, and that's the Waterstone special edition. These are the book displays I got in Zara Home today. I didn't even take the tags off yet because I was just so excited to put them on my shelf. But this is what they look like. These are in black, but they also come in gold, and they have two sizes, a bigger size and a smaller size. This is the smallest size, and it was $10.99, which is, I think, really affordable and really cute. I got the smallest size because, like I said, my shelves are really small, even though it doesn't fully fit a hardback. I think these are more suitable for paperbacks, but I'm just gonna have to make it work. So these are the lights I'm using. They are wireless, but then they have to be charged maybe like every 2 days or so. So sometimes I just leave them plugged in, but basically they have a little stand here at the back that allows them to like stay propped up like this. And this is what they look like from all the sides. And then they are from Philips. I got these two on Amazon. They were quite pricey. I think I paid like £65 for one of them, but I really needed them to be wireless because on my shelves I don't have a plug nearby, and I don't like hanging cables that like hanging down. These ones are also smart lights, so they come with an app that allows you to change the color and also set them on a schedule. So I have mine on a schedule. Do let me know if you'd like me to share more bits about my flat and the way I'm decorating it and how I'm incorporating my books in my flat, because I definitely had to get very creative to find all these like space saving and also cost saving ways to still have really beautiful books and be able to display my books without needing a separate room for my books, because we just don't have that kind of luxury around here. This book is honestly filled with so many nice, beautiful quotes. I think the language used to describe a lot of things in this book is really beautiful. So I thought I would read you some quotes. Okay, so the first one says, Arden was a vast tapestry that grew more detailed with every incarnation. Perhaps the raw material began as a simple expanse of goodness, of loyalty, of creativity and imagination, but with every life they lived and every life they took, another section of elaborate beadwork was stitched through the silk. Each piece of knowledge gained was a jewel in the border. Each new person they encountered was an intricate patch of embroidery. All this texture made them so endlessly interesting, made me want to run my fingers over every inch so that I could explore it, understand it, unravel it. And then I have another quote that I marked at page 338. Okay, so the second quote says, as we lay there in silence for a while, I had never felt as small or as infinite. We had lived for so long. We had been farmers and bakers and soldiers, jewelers and thieves, royals and rogues, sons and daughters, the shape of us changing with every life but not the heart of us. We had touched 1,000 people, most of whom were now but bones in the earth. And yet beneath the great canvas of the stars we were nothing, a blip, a finger snap, a single note in the symphony of the universe. The realization made me feel at once better and worse. We were nothing, but we felt like everything. So if you like the concept and you're looking for a book with like insane beautiful writing and such emotional quotes, like whenever I read these quotes, I was sat there thinking like I generally don't know what to feel right now because this is so beautifully written. I finished Our Infinite Fates today, and I thought I would give you an update on the book because I needed some time to think on it, to process what I read, the ending of this book, and collect my thoughts in a way that makes sense, because of course I have opinions, I have things I loved about this book and I have things I didn't love about this book, and unfortunately I did end up reading it 3 stars, which is not a bad rating in my book, it's just an average rating. This was a great book, it just didn't blow my socks off, okay? And that is a shame, unfortunately, because the concept of this book was so unique. This is what initially drew me in. This is the reason why I added this to my TBR, and I still love this beautiful edition very much. There's some parts of the execution that just left me wanting more. The flashback chapters that we get throughout this book are very, very brief, and most of the time we're kind of reliving the same thing, and that is the moment a little bit before Arden and Evelyn end up dying. In every single life we relive the last few days, weeks before their death and before the reincarnation cycle restart. We're being told from the beginning of this book that these two characters are madly in love, they're soulmates, they're meant to be together and all of that. But I just didn't see that. These flashback chapters I feel like are not fleshed out enough, and they don't have enough depth for us to truly understand why these characters are in love and how they fell in love, which is a shame because all of the elements for this to be a fantastic 5-star story were there. I just think the execution like almost missed the mark. I think if some things would have been slightly different, I think this would have gone from a 3-star to a 5-star. Now similarly, the big reveal left me wanting more. Now we know that they are cursed, and when this is revealed in the last part of the book, to me it felt like a different story started. Without giving too much away, to me it felt like there was no Easter eggs left throughout the story for then the big plot twist to be like, oh my god, I did not see this coming. We lived one story for like 80% of the book, and then the past 20% is a whole new story. Similarly with the ending, I feel like it was really rushed, and I wish I could have seen our characters live out their happily ever after, because this is a happy ending book, a lot more than what we saw in this book. I feel like a lot of people rated it 3.5 stars, which is exactly how I felt about the book. I think that's exactly where it belongs. But I still think it's a very unique story, and I liked reading about our characters. I liked the concept of reincarnation. I liked the fact that they didn't have a set gender. I liked learning about all the different lives they lived. I thought that was really interesting, sort of jumping back in time to different periods and different times in history. I thought that was really interesting. I think these are my thoughts. I think I'm going to end this vlog here because it's been much longer than I was initially anticipating. I know I said I might be reading 2 books in this video, but I think by the length of this video is turning out to be just like a single book vlog, which hopefully you guys don't mind, because sometimes I have so many thoughts and I want to share them all. I don't just want to be superficial with my reviews or really brief with my reviews for the sake of keeping these videos shorter, and I don't want to make really long videos because I do not think people will be watching an hour plus of me just talking about books. For some reason my nose is really runny and my eyes feel like I'm crying. I swear I'm not crying, it's just a weird day. If you like this video, please like it. It really helps me out. It helps other people discover my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for supporting me, and I will be posting more reading vlogs going through the rest of my TBR, so don't worry, those are coming.